Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So, just want to give you some news on Jadon Sancho. So, today is the deadline for Jadon Sancho. Now, reportedly, Borussia Dortmund expect Jadon Sancho to go to Switzerland this morning for pre-season. Obviously, if we don't get Sancho today, then the deal is off. Now, obviously, there was a transfer hint that was dropped yesterday because Jadon Sancho has been in the UK because he recently attended a house party in the UK. So, did that stir up some suggestions? As far as we are aware, Jadon Sancho does want to come to Manchester United. But like I've said, throughout the course of this transfer saga, Borussia Dortmund have remained ruthless over their valuation, and they've said several times they want over £100 million for the player. And we have said several times we are not willing to meet their asking price. Now, it did say on Saturday, Borussia Dortmund are preparing to hand Jadon Sancho a new contract if we do not meet their valuation by today. And it says Borussia Dortmund were willing to offer him around £173,000 a week. So obviously they're willing to give him a pay rise. Sancho has got a contract with Borussia Dortmund until 2022. That's his current contract at the moment. Like I said to you, I think Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years with Dortmund. Obviously, Dortmund only paid £8 million for him from Manchester City, so they got him for next to nothing. But analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. Now, we've already made a promise to Jadon Sancho that he will be our next number 7 if we do sign the player. Because I think he'd fulfill number 7 really well, and obviously we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. Obviously Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he said last week that Sancho's agreed personal terms with Manchester United, and he said he's set to sign a 5-year contract with a football club worth around 340 grand a week. But no fee has yet come to an agreement. I think Dortmund, basically, their valuation is £108 million. Dortmund are looking for around £90 million up front, but we're reluctant to pay this. I think, we want to pay around £60 or £70 million up front. Obviously, there were stories coming out a couple of weeks ago saying that, we allegedly had an £89 million bid turned down for him. Then reports were stemming from the German press. Then it allegedly said we had agreed an initial £60 million fee with Dortmund for Sancho, and it said there'd be like £30 or £40 million in add-ons. At one point, it said we was only willing to pay £50 million for the player. But it did say, last week that negotiations between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund were actually at an advanced stage, but now reportedly talks have broken down because of Borussia Dortmund's valuation. Now, obviously we've been looking at alternatives to Sancho because I will make the admission he is cheaper solutions than him. We've obviously looked at like Thiago Almeida, we looked at Ferran Torres at one point. We looked at Robin Rotondo from Schalke. We recently looked at Federico Chiesa from Fiorentina. We also looked at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. But I said it's very imperative that we get Sancho on the board because he is our number 1 priority target, and he has been our number 1 priority target for a while. I've outlined the reasons why I want him at the club because he's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford. He's predominantly a right winger. Man United want a right winger. And he'll dramatically improve us. Runs on off the ball very, very good. Can create chances and can also score goals. And he's only at the age of 20. I think he's still 20, by the way, is Sancho. Borussia Dortmund is the 3rd club in his playing career. Obviously, before he was at Dortmund, he was at City. Enjoyed a few years with them. And before he was at City, he was at Watford. And I think he was at Watford for several years. Borussia Dortmund did say though that they couldn't accept the fact that he does want to leave. So, Dortmund have been in the market looking for a replacement for Sancho. Obviously, they've been looking at Memphis Depay from Lyon. He says the other week they was looking at Rashika from Werder Bremen. And they've also looked at Jonathan Eacock from Lille. Dortmund have let quite a few of their imperative players go in recent years. A lot of their players have gone to the Premier League. There's some players that they've let go who didn't go to the Premier League, but they've also recruited some good players in recent years of Borussia Dortmund. Obviously, in January brought Erling Haaland in, and a few weeks ago got Jude Bellingham in from Birmingham. They brought lights of Thorgan Hazard and Julian Broughton in recent years. They also got Emre Can permanently. But there's actually now a chance that, Sancho could remain at Dortmund for another season. You had Borussia Dortmund's CEO coming out recently saying that Man United have not made any bid for Sancho, or Man United have not made any contact for the player. So he basically denied that we were in advanced talks. But I think Borussia Dortmund's director hopes that Sancho can remain at Dortmund for next season. But probably, like I said, he's going to travel to Switzerland this morning. So yeah, the deal now could be off. We shall see. But Sancho at Man United should have been made official Friday. Everyone expected it to be official on Friday, or at least a fee should have been agreed on Friday and that. But definitely Borussia Dortmund are playing hardball. But if we was to get him in a deal with £108 million, Sancho would be our most expensive signing, and he'd be the most expensive British player in history. So that is the news on him. I just want to delve into some more news. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has praised Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba. Obviously, he praised them during his press conference yesterday ahead of our game tonight against FC Copenhagen in the Europa League quarter-final. I give you my reaction to Solskjaer's press conference, didn't I, yesterday? And he did say, Solskjaer, that he has been discussing the extra work that Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba have been doing. Solskjaer did say that Paul Pogba's got to make up for his lost time. Obviously, Paul Pogba was out for the vast majority of the Premier League season with that ankle injury, but Paul Pogba has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. And he actually did say as well regarding Martial that he is in his best shape in his career. Anthony Martial, this has been his 5th season at Manchester United. Like I said, he's had 2 good seasons out of the 5 years he's been here. He's done well this season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he did well in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. I think Martial's got 23 goals in all competitions this season. He obviously recently scored the winner against Lask. He came off the bench. Don't forget he did score a hat-trick in our 3-0 win against Sheffield United in the Premier League. That was his second game after lockdown and became the first senior player to score a hat-trick for Man United. And he became the first player to score a hat-trick for Man United since Robin van Persie back in 2012. But Martial, throughout the course of this season, has been playing in number 9, so he has been playing centrally. But we'll keep in that position because he looks very effective in that position, even though that's not his predominant position in that. But we did pay around £36 million for Anthony Martial from Monaco, didn't we? And we've had him since the age of 19, and he is now 24. Solskjaer did say regarding Pogba that he will stay at Manchester United, and Solskjaer expects Paul Pogba to sign a new contract with the football club. I expect Pogba to sign a 4 or a 5-year deal. Now, a couple of weeks before the season finished, Fabrizio Romano came out and said, that Man United want to extend Paul Pogba's contract, and Pogba's agent Mini Raiola is waiting for the offer. He said that Pogba was close to signing a 5-year deal at the football club. But Fabrizio Romano said that, Pogba's happy at Man United. He wants to stay at the football club, and he mentioned that we will enter negotiations with his agent, Mini Raiola, over getting him a new contract at the football club. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. And as it stands at the moment, Paul Pogba's our most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him. I think he's on just under 300 grand a week at the moment on his current contract as well. So he is one of the highest paid players. But yeah, I think, Paul Pogba will sign a new contract at Manchester United. Like I said though, towards the end of the Premier League season, I thought, he did make a fantastic impact. And at one point, it was looking very imminent that Paul Pogba was going to be leaving the football club, because a year or so ago now, Pogba said he wanted to leave Manchester United and said, he was seeking for a new challenge, and he was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. There was also a lot of narratives about him possibly going back to Juventus, because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 exceptional years with Juventus. PSG, Barca and Inter Milan were in for him before, and don't forget, swap deals were high on the agenda. And Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, in the last couple of years at least, has been in the process of trying to get his client a transfer away from Manchester United completed. Paul Pogba has made over 100 appearances, I think, for the club in all competitions since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. I think a couple of days ago, Paul Pogba did celebrate his 4-year anniversary at the football club. Pogba so far at Man United has won the Europa League and the League Cup, and he won that in his first season, at the club. Don't forget, we had Paul Pogba when he was a lot younger, back under the Alex Ferguson era, but we actually had to let him go due to limited appearances. We let him go to Juventus on a 3 transfer, but you can say we made a mistake by getting rid of him when he was younger. And I think, Paul Pogba's combination with Bruno Fernandes has been absolutely fantastic. It really, really has. So, Solskjaer, has praised them too. By the way, Solskjaer has come out and admitted that he has got a tough decision to make on our 3 goalkeepers. And Solskjaer said it's going to be hard for us to keep De Gea, Romero and Dean Henderson at the football club for next season. So he said it's going to be hard for us to keep all them 3 goalkeepers in that. So Solskjaer's definitely got a goalkeeping decision to make. He's also got to decide who he's going to put in goal tonight against FC Copenhagen. Personally, I would go with Romero, but I think Solskjaer is going to go with David De Gea. Now, I've already said to you, we need to put Dean Henderson as number 1 for next season. Because I believe now that Dean Henderson has got that experience behind him. He really, really has. Because he's enjoyed 2, successful loans with Sheffield United, and Dean Henderson has been Sheffield United's player of the season. We are going to recall him from his loan. Dean Henderson has got a contract on Man United till 2022. It recently did say that we'd offered Dean Henderson around £60,000 a week, for him to sign a new deal at the football club. But the only way Dean Henderson will stay is if he's assured to be our number 1 for next season. So Solskjaer's got to put him as number 1. Solskjaer was talking about Dean Henderson recently though, saying that he doesn't think he's ready to become number 1 yet. But he did say, prior to our game against Sheffield United, in the second game after lockdown, he said that he expects Dean Henderson to be England's number 1 and Manchester United's number 1 goalkeeper in the future. De Gea, has been our number 1 for several years. And De Gea, has been a long servant at the football club. De Gea has enjoyed, 9 years at Man United now. He is approaching his 10th year at the football club. And De Gea has made 404 appearances for Man United in all competitions and around 300 other appearances in the Premier League. Solskjaer was talking about De Gea the other week, saying that he has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years because he has won everything he domestically at the football club, and he's also, won individual awards, reflects on his good performances over the years. But like I've mentioned before, I think De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Manchester United. I don't think we'll sell him in this summer transfer window. There's a lot of Man United fans saying that we've got to sell him in this summer transfer window. If we did, and even if we sold him in the next couple of windows, we'd still get more than the 18 odd million pounds that were paid for him from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. I think we'd probably get around 60 million pounds for De Gea. But when he does eventually leave Manchester United anyway, I think he will go back to Spain, like I've mentioned before. Because back in 2015, he was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. Don't forget, last September, De Gea signed a 4-year deal with the football club worth $375,000 a week. So he's the highest paid goalkeeper in the world at the moment. It's too much of a liability now, though, to be our number one. Sergio Romero, a decision's got to be made on him. When Dean Henson comes back, Romero is going to be obviously our third choice goalkeeper, and I think we'll probably consider selling Sergio Romero in this summer transfer window. We'll probably demand around £5 or £6 million to sell him in this summer transfer window. Romero's got a year. Is it just a year left on his contract, or just under a year? But the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. This has been Sergio Romero's 5th season at Manchester United. We did get him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015 and that. So he is facing a dilemma regarding the goalkeepers is Solskjaer, and he admitted this in his press conference yesterday and that. Solskjaer's also said Manchester United. If he said. Winning the Europa League as Manchester United manager would be our greatest achievement. So what he says is, it would surpass 1999. And like I've said to the Europa League is a priority for us. Because obviously, if we win the Europa League, it will be our first trophy under Solskjaer. And it will be our first trophy in over 3 years. We are the favourites to win the Europa League. We are into our 26th European quarter-final, and we are looking to reach our 2nd European semi-final since Alex Ferguson's retirement. Obviously, the winners out of us and Copenhagen play the winners of Wolves and Sevilla. But I really, really do want us to win the Europa League because it will put more confidence into the team. Obviously, so far this season, Solskjaer has exceeded expectations because obviously we got qualification for the Champions League, and I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. I think we got didn't we get an extra £70 million in revenue for getting qualification for the Champions League? We also finished 3rd. I thought that was also a fantastic achievement, and also too, we got to the EFL Cup semi-final, and we also got to the FA Cup semi-final. So overall, you can say Solskjaer did very, very well in his first full season at the football club, because earlier on in the season we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season for 30 years. And at that point, Solskjaer was very, very close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager and that. But I give you the main explanations why he didn't get sacked as Manchester United manager at that point. But next season is definitely going to be the big test for Solskjaer, because next season he knows that he'll have bigger expectations to exceed. Next season I expect Manchester United to challenge for the title. Obviously, we've got to recruit well in this summer transfer window. It's been open over a week now. We haven't made any signings as yet. But Solskjaer has already outlined his transfer plans. He's obviously instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets, and he's obviously identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up and that. But big decisions have got to be made in this summer transfer window. What players we're going to recommend in, and obviously what players we are going to get rid of. We know for the game tonight that we've got a few injuries. So Luke Shaw, ankle injury, hasn't travelled. Tuanzebe, injured, hasn't travelled. Shaw and Tuanzebe, I think, are going to be back for next season. And Phil Jones has got a knee injury, and he hasn't travelled, and reportedly set to have an operation on his knee. So they're the only 3 injuries that Manchester United have got. I think Solskjaer's going to go with a pretty strong lineup tonight, because he isn't obviously going to take any risks. He didn't really say what team, whether he was going to go over a weak team or a strong team, but I think he's going to go with a strong team. So he's going to make quite a lot of changes from the 2-1 win against Lask recently. But we've got to go with our strongest team, because obviously, when we haven't gone with our strongest team, we've seen to have struggled in games, struggled against Lask recently, struggled against Chelsea in the FA Cup semi-final, lost 3-1, didn't go with our best 11. Also, too, struggled against Norwich in the FA Cup quarter-finals, but still beat them by 2-1. So in the game tonight, I expect, the guy starting goal, Bissaka to be obviously, right back, Lindelof who plays well, Maguire will probably remain at centre-half, Williams will obviously, be at left-back, Fred McTominay, I think he'll be starting as well for us, maybe. Paul Pogba will start. Bruno Fernandes will probably start. Rashford, he may start as well. Martial will definitely he'll start. Probably Greenwood will start as well. So he will make a hell of a lot of changes. But to be honest with you now, I think Manchester United will win the Europa League. I really, really do. But like I said, we've got to get the right players in this summer transfer window. There hasn't only been Jadon Sancho on our agenda. There's been a lot of players on our agenda, because obviously Solskjaer wants to overhaul the Manchester United squad. Jack Grealish, he's been on our agenda. Now I'm going to fully disregard Jack Grealish coming to Manchester United now. I don't think it's going to happen. Because obviously, Villa's have, remain moveless over the valuation. They said they want £80 million. And I think he'll stay with Villa for next season, because obviously Aston Villa avoided relegation. He did recently say that Villa had offered Grealish a new deal with £100,000 a week. Haven't read reports regarding Grealish though in the last couple of days. There were stories coming out the other week regarding Raul Jimenez, saying that Man United were close to getting him, and he said he was on his way to Man United, but that was the media justifying their existence on that particular story. Obviously, there's still centre-halves on our agenda, because we are looking for someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. But earlier on in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career, he worked out his transfer strategy, and he said he wants to recruit young British talents to Manchester United. But Solskjaer has been at Manchester United now over a year and a half. So he has been here now for quite a while, and obviously, he has learned quite a lot. Don't get me wrong, we've seen an upturn in form since January, because, we haven't lost in the league since that 2-0 Burnley game. So we are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. Don't forget, we did go on the 19 game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. And, aspects of our game have definitely improved, and, players have improved. But, there's still improvements needed at Manchester United, don't get me wrong. But I've seen a lot of improvements since Solskjaer came in. I've got to credit Solskjaer, I think, for the way he's promoted the youth this season. Don't get me wrong, though, on the other side of things, there's some young players that have found game time difficult at the club. I think our recruitment has definitely improved under him. It really, really has, because I believe so far Solskjaer's brought the players that he wanted to bring in. So far, Solskjaer's made 4 permanent signings at the club and spent just over £200 million. I've also got to credit him as well, because he has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to Manchester United. We've also extended a lot of players' contracts since he came into the club. But we've still got around, is it 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. So we have got to make a decision on those 8 players. So there's definitely no positives to take from his tenure so far. But like I said, we're going to get rid of at least 6 or 7 players in this summer transfer window. Yep. I want us to get rid of Jesse Lingard. I know Jesse Lingard has actually, scored for Man United his last 2 appearances. Scored against Lask. Scored on the final day of the Premier League season against Leicester. And when he scored against Leicester, that was his first goal for Man United since Solskjaer's first game in charge. So that just indicates how inconsistent he has been. Solskjaer's an admirer of Jesse Lingard because he coached him as a youth player, and Lingard's been part of the club for several years. Lingard's got just under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for the further year. He did recently say that Everton are interested in him, but we've actually put Lingard up for sale. Andres Pereira, I want him to go because Andres Pereira, I don't think he's good enough to represent Man United, and I don't think he gets in the team enough anyway. Marcus Rojo, hopefully we can get rid of him permanently. He's been out on loan with Estudiantes as Rojo. Phil Jones, I'm hopeful, that we can also get rid of him. Phil Jones, I don't think he's good enough to represent Man United. Doesn't even get in the team now anyway. This has been Phil Jones' 9th season at Manchester United, so he has been a long-serving player. Well, it was his 9th season, should I say, and he is approaching his 10th year at the football club. Diego Dalot, I don't think he's good enough to represent Manchester United. I think we've also got to get rid of him. It did... He did recently say that Everton were interested in Dalot, and it says that Everton believe they can get him for around £10 million. We did get Diego Dalot in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid £19 million in from Porto, and Dalot's got a contract with the club till 2023. Juan Mata, some United fans will say we need to get rid of him in this summer transfer window, but I think we'll keep Juan Mata, to be honest with you, for next season. I know he doesn't get in the team lot now, but when he does get a chance, he makes an impact. Don't forget, recently he got both our assists against Lask. This has been Juan Mata's 6th season at the football club. We paid just under £40 million in from Chelsea back in 2014. I think we're also going to loan some players out as well so they can go get regular first team football. I think we're going to possibly loan James Garner out, maybe Dylan Levitt. Tahith Chong, recent reports have said that Werder Bremen are interested in him, and Tahith Chong's agent has confirmed that Chong wants to go to the Bundesliga. Chong's found game time very, very difficult at Manchester United. He really, really has. Some United fans will say we need to loan Tuanzebe and Foster Mensah out. I think Daniel James probably needs to be loaned out for next season because if you've noticed, towards the end of the Premier League season, didn't get any starts. Mason Greenwood was getting there ahead of Daniel James towards the end of the season. But for the vast majority of the Premier League season, Daniel James got a hell of a lot of starts. I think he did play a good 30-odd games for the football club. But like I said, revert back to what I said earlier on, big decisions have got to be made. But I'm hopeful we can win a title under Solskjaer. I really, really am. If we can, it will be our 21st title in total, because as it stands at the moment, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League. So as it stands at the moment, we are the most successful team in Premier League history. Obviously, we haven't won the title now for 7 years. The last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season back in 2013. I don't expect us to win the league next season, but I do expect us, to challenge for it. And obviously Solskjaer's got to exceed his expectations next season to remain in the Manchester United job. But our transfer budget for this summer transfer window, I think, is around £140 million. Obviously, the transfer budget will increase, when we do sell players though, so let's put that into the equation. But like I said, there has been problems at the football club for several years. With the managers we've obviously had, because in the last 7 years, we have had different managers with different philosophies. Obviously, We sacked Moyes, we sacked Van Gaal, and we sacked Mourinho. So Solskjaer's our 4th permanent manager since the Ferguson era. Obviously, we've had a lot of problems with Ed Woodward and the club's ownership, the Glazers, over the last 7 years. We've also had a lot of problems with the club's board. There's also been cultural problems at the football club. We have spent £900 million on players, I think, something like that, since Ferguson retired. And we've recruited a good 32, 33 players in since Ferguson left the football club. Like I said, we haven't dominated English football since the Alex Ferguson era. And like I said, it's going to be hard for someone to replicate Ferguson's legacy at the club. And I don't see any manager at Man United, lasting as long as Alex Ferguson did. Ferguson enjoyed 20-odd years of success, but don't forget he didn't win out in his first 4 years at the club. But we did win a total of 38 major honours under Ferguson. So our vast majority of silverware we won came under Ferguson. We have won a total of 45 trophies so far in our history. So there you go. But there'll be another video coming up later on today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.